So today we're going to talk about the facts of life. And to help us, I'm going to read you a story. Where did I come from? Oh, look. Sperm. A special one. I wonder what is on his mind. Let's see. Where did I come from? This book is all about you. See, it's a little picture of yourself as a baby. We wrote it because we thought you'd like to know exactly where you came from and how it all happened. And we know, because we have children of our own, how difficult it is to tell the truth without getting red in the face and mumbling. Has that happened to you? Anyway, before we wrote all this down, we asked some boys and girls your age where they had thought they had come from. Where did you think you came from? Let's turn the page. Here's what some of them said. I was brought special delivery by the stork. The cat brought me in one night. What do you think about that? Dad found me in his beer. I was a Christmas present from the fairies. It's Christmas very soon, isn't it? Mum found me at the hospital. Do you think they were true? Now, you know that none of that is true. The truth is much more interesting than that. So we'll start at the very beginning. Little people are made by bigger people. The first thing to know is that babies are made by grown-ups. One of them has to be a woman and one a man. In other words, the two people who made you were your mother and your father. Now, if you put your mother and your father in the bath together, you'll notice something interesting. They are not made at all the same way. You've probably noticed that already, but you notice it much more when you put them in the bath together. Quite apart from being different sizes and different shapes, they have different parts to their body. Picture of a woman and a man. What the differences are. This is important because it's the different parts that make it possible for your mother and your father to make you. In fact, it's so important that we've done two big pictures. There you go. Just so that you can see what's what. Don't worry if the pictures don't look too much like your mother and your father. The important parts are the same on all of us, even you. So let's stop at the top of the pictures and see what the differences are. First of all, you see that the man has a flat chest, but the woman has two round bumps on her chest. These bumps have a lot of names. Some people call them the bosom, which you say like this, bosom. Other people call them titties or boobs. Don't ask us why. Breasts. That is the proper name for them, and that's the name we want you to remember. When you were just born, your mother's breasts were rather like a mobile milk bar. For the first few months of your life, the only food you could eat was milk. Because at that time you didn't have any teeth, so you couldn't eat hot dogs or hamburgers or french fries or lollies or anything. You had to drink your food. Well, the milk kept you alive for those first few months. It either came from a bottle or your mother's breasts. So it's a quick thank you to breasts before we move on. Thank you, Bress. Now, if we take a further look down the pictures, you'll see just below the woman spreads out a little bit, but the man doesn't. Oh, picture. Ah, wonderful milk. Hips. The reason she spreads out there, that part is called the hips, is to make enough room for a baby. But that comes later. Look further down between the legs. Both the man and the woman have a lot of furry hair there. Don't worry, you'll have some too when you get older. Penis. But the important thing to notice is that the man has something hanging between his legs that the woman doesn't have. All of you boys have one, and yours will grow bigger as you grow bigger. Just like breasts, this hanging part has a lot of different names too. Although it is spelt penis, you say penis, like peanuts, but without the T. So that's what the man has. See, it gets bigger as you get bigger. A woman has a vagina. That is what is between her legs. She has a little opening called a vagina, which rhymes with Carolina. Alright, now if you can remember those two names, the penis and the vagina, we'll get on to how a baby is made. The beginning of a baby. What happens is this. Let's say the man and the woman are lying in bed together. This part often happens in bed because a bed is so nice and comfortable. The man loves the woman, so he gives her a kiss. And she gives him a kiss, and they hug each other. Very tight. And after a while, the man's penis becomes stiff. And hard. And much bigger than it usually is. It gets bigger because it has a lot of work to do. By this time, the man wants to get as close to the woman as he can because he's feeling very loving towards her. And to get really close, the best thing he could do is lie on top of her and put his penis inside her, into her vagina. It's a lovely picture. Making love. This is a very nice feeling for both the man and the woman. He likes being inside her, and she likes him being inside her. It's called making love. Because it all starts with the man and the woman loving each other. It's a difficult feeling to describe, but if you can imagine a gentle, tingly sort of a tickle that starts in your stomach and spreads all over, that will give you some idea of what it's like. And as you know, when you're feeling tickly, you wriggle about a bit. It's just the same here, except it's a special kind of wriggling. It's easier to understand when you realize that the parts that tickle the most are the man's penis and the woman's vagina. So most of the wriggling happens down there. Picture, it's a lovely feeling. The man pushes his penis up and down inside the woman's vagina so that both the tickly parts are being rubbed against each other. It's like scratching an itch, but a lot nicer. This usually starts slowly and gets quicker and quicker as the tickly feeling gets stronger and stronger. So why does the tickling stop? Now you may be thinking, if it's so nice, why don't people do it all the time? There are two reasons. First, it's very tiring, more than playing football or running or skipping or climbing trees or almost anything. Good as it is, you just can't do it all day long. And the second reason is that something really wonderful happens which puts an end to the tickly feeling and at the same time starts the making of a baby. When the man and the woman have been wriggling so hard, you think they're both going to pop. They nearly just do that. All the rubbing up and down that's been going on ends in a tremendous, lovely shiver for both of them. Again, it's not easy to tell you this, what it feels like, but you know how it is when you have a tickle in your nose for a long time and then you have a really big sneeze. It's a little like that. At the same time, a spurt of quite thick, sticky stuff comes from the end of the man's penis, and this goes into the woman's vagina. Well, believe it or not, this sticky stuff is how you and I and all of us started. It's called semen, and the semen and in the semen are sperm. The romantic sperm. Do you remember that picture we first saw with all the sperm and there was one that looked a bit special? Each drop of sperm is actually made up of hundreds and thousands of smaller drops of sperm, which you could only see under a very powerful microscope. And what they get up to is quite amazing. After leaving the man's penis, the sperm make their way up the woman's vagina like tiny tadpoles swimming up a stream. What they're hoping to find is one of the eggs the woman produces inside her every month. How can an egg produce a sperm like this? It's very cute, don't you think? If one single sperm meets one single egg, they have a romance all of their own. This is called fertilization, and the result is the beginning of a baby. So if two sperm meet two eggs, the result is twins. 3 sperm and 3 eggs, triplets, and so on. The sperm and the egg combine to make another tiny person. It's so small that not even the mother knows it's there for a few weeks. From a speck to a baby in 9 months. Very, very slowly it grows inside the mother. We should really give it a name, but we're not sure if it's a boy or a girl yet. Gets food from the mother, from what the mother eats. It stays safe and warm in a place inside the mother called the womb. And over a period of 9 months, the speck changes from almost nothing into a full-fledged baby, all ready to come into the world. You might like to know what happens during those 9 months, so we've done a month-by-month chart to show how an unborn baby grows. The first month. The baby, let's say it's a girl, spends the first month growing from a dot you can hardly see into a little girl measuring about the size of one of your teeth. As small as she is, she already has a backbone and the first beginnings of arms, legs, nose and eyes. She even has a heart that's beating. So they're very, very little, isn't it? The second month. By the time the second month has passed, our baby not only has arms and legs, she has fingers, toes, elbows and knees, and a definite little face. It's this baby just here. Can you see it has little arms and legs and a little face? And on the third month, this is the time when the baby starts to develop her shouting equipment. she begins to form her vocal cords, which she's going to need when she starts yelling for her dinner. The 4th month, got a bit of a change, haven't we? She's now become a pretty good size, about as big as your mummy's hand. She's also getting more lively, and by the end of this month it's usually possible for the mother to feel her moving about. Later on, you can put your hand on a mother's stomach and feel the baby yourself. Some babies kick so much it feels like they're playing football in there. 5th month, a big moment for bald-headed babies. This month, a thin covering of hair appears on the head. Nails grow on the fingers and toes, and a doctor with one of those special hearing things can actually hear the baby's heart beating. 6th month, although she can't see much because it's very dark in there, this is the month when her eyelids open. At the same time, she starts getting eyebrows and eyelashes. You can see 4th month, 5th month, 6th month. She's getting very big. 7th month. If you thought she was a big before, by now she's a whopper. About as long as your arm, but all curled up, and weighing about 3 pounds. Now that her body's grown a bit, her brain is beginning to grow too. The 8th and 9th months. This time is spent getting bigger and stronger and getting ready to see what the world looks like. So what comes next? The birthday. Now we come to the day that all of us have been through and none of us remembers. Our real birthday. There lies the baby, all curled up inside her mother. How does she get out? The simple answer is, she's pushed out. After about 9 months, Mum's had enough. The baby is now ready to come out, and nature starts things moving in the right direction. A special kind of stomach ache. The first sign the mother has is a series of stomach aches coming at regular intervals. At first, these aches, which are called labour pains, come a long way apart. Gradually, they get closer and closer together, and that's when the doctor starts rushing around, because that means that the baby is really ready. Oh, it's starting to come out. What the mother has to do is push the baby out through the opening between her legs. And what she uses to do the pushing are all the muscles inside her stomach. Now the last part is the hardest. Now when you think how big the baby is and how small the opening is, you can imagine what hard work it is for the mother. That's why this part of the birth is called being in labour. It can take a long time and it's very, very tiring. But in the end, out comes the baby, looking red in the face, cross, and yelling like a spectator at a football game. You yelled too when you were born, because it's quite a shock coming into the cold after 9 months of being warm and snug. One last thing has to be done before everybody can relax. For the entire 9 months of her unborn life, the baby has been getting her food through a little tube that is attached to her stomach. Why, you have a belly button. Do you know where your belly button is? Now that she's born and going to start taking food through her mouth, she doesn't need this tube anymore. So the doctor snips it off, doesn't hurt, ties up the end and makes it all neat. And that's why you've got a belly button, which is all that remains of the tube that once kept you alive. Yes, That funny looking belly button once kept you alive. There. Now you know where you came from. You may think it sounds like a lot of hard work for such a little person, but there's a very good reason why your mother and father went through it all. And if you want to know what that reason is, just take a look in the mirror. And that's the end of the story. That's all the sad sperm that missed out. I hope you learnt something today. Come back and we'll read another book soon.